Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so the Lakers got the Kings in Sacramento. No beam tonight. 134, 136, I believe, was the score. I think it was 136, 134 Lakers. Um, really frustrating to ultimately watch that game, but I was really happy that ultimately we were able to get the victory. I wasn't frustrated because of our team. I was frustrated because of the officiating. You could just see with the score what time it is in this era. I don't want to get into a long spiel about it, but for those of us old school video game players, uh, the NBA is on arcade mode. That's what we're seeing. They need to switch back to simulation mode. They're on arcade mode right now, and you're seeing a lot of bubblegum basketball taking place out there, and that's exactly what we saw tonight. The referees continue to make sure that the Sacramento Kings were very much involved at the line. They sent Swiper and um, Harrison Barnes to the line repeatedly all night long, um, and that's really kind of how I saw it from my view. It's just them getting their calls and us not getting ours. But overall, our Lakers were able to overcome with some really phenomenal individual performances by guys, man. Dennis Schroeder, I don't think he's missed in about a week. I don't know what's going on with Dennis Schroeder. He looks like the best version of himself. I don't think he's played this good since he was in Atlanta or OKC or something. He's playing really great basketball right now. Just everything you could think of. I think he was 4 for 4 from behind the arc. I think he ended up with like 23 points. Had a key steal down the stretch of the basketball game again. Didn't he have a key steal in the last basketball game yesterday? Closed the game out. Well, he did it again. Um, Hitting clutch free throws down the stretch, driving at the rim. Everything you would want from your Laker, Dennis Schroeder has been providing us all week long. And we're on a 5-game winning streak because of it. 19-21 is our record. Um, Tied for the 11th spot in the Western Conference. And it's looking pretty good, man. I like where our team is right now, despite having so many injury issues. Thomas Bryant, the great equalizer. I don't know what the Lakers are going to do at the end of this season, but if it doesn't have Thomas Bryant being re-signed, people need to be fired for that alone. That's where we're at with that. He is playing that great. I believe he walked out of it with about 14 rebounds, a bunch of them offensive. Um, I think it was about 19 points. Don't quote me on that, maybe even more. But when you talk about Thomas Bryant, what you saw out there was just him dominate, absolutely dominate the offensive end, rebounding the ball clearly. And look, the Sacramento Kings were a good rebounding team tonight. Can't take nothing away from their guys. They were physical all night long. They used big body players, Demonis Sabonis, all those guys, man. Trey Lyles, very frustrating going up against them tonight. Harrison Barnes, Keegan Murray. You know, Keegan hit 4 threes tonight, young rookie. This isn't the first time he's seen us and done this. I'm taking notes. He seems to be a Laker killer early in his career. So these are things, Davion Mitchell had a big game tonight off the bench. I thought they should have played him even more than they did. So this is a situation where Sacramento really gave us all we could handle on their home floor. Demonis Sabonis, a fantastic basketball player. Obviously, he got in foul trouble and ultimately was removed from the game before regulation, so that helped a lot. Wenyen Gabriel got in foul trouble. I was a bit frustrated with our coach for leaving him out there with 5 fouls and then picking up that 6-1 at the end of the third quarter, so we were able to get away with it. But because Thomas Bryant and LeBron James were able to be the substitution there, so if Wenyen has to go out with foul trouble and we're subbing in those guys, I think we feel pretty good about ourselves. Um, Kendrick Nunn came in 1 for 1 and didn't play again. I was kind of mad at coach for that. Simply put, I saw way too much Patrick Beverly for my liking tonight. One of the big things that I want to see is our coach reward guys for playing well. If a guy is going around balling out, he should see some minutes that reflect that. Just like we're quick to pull people off the floor for mistakes, we gotta make that other aspect of it make sense. And I just don't think Darvin's doing that because he wants to play Patrick Beverly. And this Patrick Beverly experience has been a nightmare for me as a fan watching him be in small ball lineups, even though I really like the player. I've always liked the player. That's not even a thing, as you guys know. But tonight was one of them nights where I just didn't need to see him as much as I did. I did not. I needed more Max Christie. I needed more Kendrick Nunn. Obviously, Russell Westbrook had it going. We're going to get into him right now because he's been phenomenal. 6-man of the year. I'm calling that right now. And, it was just situations where he just played Patrick and it drug on and he kept playing him throughout the majority of the fourth quarter. And it was just a situation where the Kings kept close during that time span. And it's just like, man, The production that Pat's given us, 2 for 3, wonderful, nice efficiency. But he had 2 turnovers and 3 fouls, and that was pretty much it. Like 1 rebound, 1 assist, and that was all the production you got. If he's down there for defense, he don't have no defensive stats. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, he got 25 minutes and he's only hit 2 buckets, and we're sitting people who are hot, sitting people who are helping us. You know, you look at the rebound that Max Christie got down the stretch of that basketball game. You know what I mean? Little things like that. It's like, yo, you would get a lot more of that if you would just play him. You know, and it's like, when you do put Max down there, you got him trying to guard Swiper by himself. You know, it's like he's taking them off the dribble. It's like, coach, put our players in positions to succeed, man. We got the victory tonight, but there was a lot down there that could have went wrong if a couple shots fell a different way for the Sacramento Kings. And because of it, I was able to see what went wrong for our team despite us getting the win. It was a lot of that. It was like, yo, there were rotations. I know we're shorthanded, and trust and believe we got great production from our players. But I was not in need of seeing Patrick as much as he ran tonight. And I'm glad we were able to win in spite of it. So that's the first thing there. Russell Westbrook, phenomenal, man. 6th man of the year. 15 assists, 5 rebounds. God, I don't even remember how many points he had, but it was a lot of them. Several 3-point shots. Clutch all the way around. Just like I said, he's been attacking and making his presence felt at the rim. Obviously, on the defensive side, he's been stepping his game up as well. And, of course, the continuity that he creates by just repeatedly finding people, it's just been phenomenal. Finding Thomas Bryant repeatedly, finding LeBron James repeatedly. His assist play is the difference for us, I think. We need that continuity. 15 assists from one player in a game where we didn't have necessarily the most phenomenal continuity going on for ourselves on the defensive side. We really needed to make up for it by having that type of production from your backup point guard, man. And I'm growing to respect more and more what Russell can bring to this team now that he's shaking off all of what went wrong, and it's just giving us what it is that he is. We're seeing why he's getting $47 million worth of basketball. I could argue he's almost playing $47 million worth of basketball right now. When you consider what it is that we have him doing, consider the sacrifice he's making coming off the bench and the production he's providing, I don't think he's too far off from that, to be really honest with you. He's playing elite basketball right now. And so I'm just glad to see it start to translate to some winning so he can continue to believe in the sacrifices that he's making. Not only as it pertains to coming off the bench, but just passing up certain shots, man. He's been great at that. He's taken some ones we want him to take. They've fallen. So I was just really, really thrilled with his overall floor game tonight. I've been thrilled with his overall floor game for the past couple weeks. And as you can see, we've been winning games. Team ain't losing. And he's a big part of why that isn't happening. So I'm going to continue to tell everybody, put the respect on the man's name when it's due, and it's due. We can't win these games without what he's doing at all. Let that be known. And, of course, LeBron James, man, 37 points. I believe it was, I don't remember, the numbers aren't coming to me right now. I think he had like 9 assists, 8 rebounds or something like that. Really, really good stuff. 1 of 5 from the 3, but we're not worried about that. He took some good ones tonight. I wasn't too concerned. Just constantly attacking. You know, we were dealing with a lot of frustration tonight. He picked up a technical against the referees. I was probably in the same mindset he was with that point. I didn't disagree with him at all. I thought the officiating was horrific tonight. From top to bottom, they were just awful. Absolutely awful. And I think, you know, when you say awful, you understand that means that they did what they were asked to do. They were asked to officiate a game in such a way that makes the scores inflated to no end. For this purpose of just seeing this modern day era get all the numbers that they want to see them get, sports betting, etc. We talk about the same old stuff. But at the end of the day, I hate it with a passion as a basketball fan for 30 plus years. I think we're watching bubblegum basketball, and I think it's cheating the game out of actual competition because you're allowing the way that they officiate the game to determine inflated scoring, and it's more than obvious across the board, across the league. And I just feel bad for the young people out there who really believe that this is good basketball. I assure you, it is not. They've manipulated the floor in such a way to make it so that certain things are enabled and certain things are disabled. And those things directly affect what it is that you're seeing. The score, all that. It's the way they call the games. It's not right, and it's compromised to no end. And I think it's going to hurt the players in the long term. We talk about it a lot, but that's exactly what I think. I think when it's all said and done, they zoom out and look at the numbers, you're going to see a big asterisk next to this era. They're going to, all time, 25, 30, 40 years from now, they're going to look at this era with the improved math that they're going to be using. They're going to see clearly how crappy this era actually was as it pertains to how they officiated the game and ultimately what that meant for the players' production. You know what I mean? And I just think it's a whole generation of players that are going to be swept aside as not as good because of it. And right now, nobody seems to see that. But I do. And I'm telling y'all, they're going to get discredited. And it's because Adam Silver and this bullcrap era he got going on right here. So I'm just throwing it out there. I don't like it. I think most of the old school guys are telling you they don't like it. And it sounds like we're a bunch of haters. But it's not that. It's just that we understand that the game is officiated this way so that they can lie about how good guys actually are and how productive guys are in comparison to some of these old guys. It's the only reason why it's being done that way, so that they can inflate these guys' value and ultimately gain more leverage in regards to negotiations with them and all these other different things, versus guys that they want to continue to see production from, but aren't going to necessarily be able to see that production if they don't manipulate it a certain way. So as to where like a Steph Curry or KD, you can say, okay, we're going to negotiate this and this price with, say, Puma or Nike or whatever. Well, we can't negotiate up if the numbers are coming down, right? And the numbers are going to come down naturally because these guys aren't going to be able to do this without the manipulation of this era. They're not going to put up the numbers that you're getting from Steph and from KD. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to happen unless they do this, or so they think. No way of knowing. If they don't do it, maybe we don't see that. But the point is, they're manipulating it so that we see it, and therefore we are. And this is not right, man. 136 to 134. This game wasn't supposed to be that high scoring. It wasn't. So even though I like the fact that guys are shooting the ball more and find themselves to be more efficient, the reality is you can't guard anybody. You know what I mean? You step in front of somebody, they call a foul. Guy shoots a jump shot, falls to the floor, they call a foul. It's like it's synchronized swimming out there, man. And so that's ultimately what I saw. It was 3.5 hours of synchronized swimming. Swiper down there just doing all the stuff that you see the young guards do these days, taking advantage of the circumstances that the referees allow and that the Adam Silver in his era allows, so they can score all day long and look like they, as great as Michael Jordan when they're not able to display that in real time because the defense is played differently and so on and so forth. So Swider had 35 points, something of that nature. And taking nothing away from me, hit some big shots down the stretch, hit some free throws, probably all of them. Just a phenomenal young talent. I'm excited about his future. You know what I'm saying? This is a great player. I don't want to take nothing from him and any of those guys in Sacramento. I like what they're doing. But this ain't about them. This ain't about us. It's about the era we're in and just how inflated and overly manipulated this sport is right now. It's just disgusting, really. So that's what I see out there, man. I really like ultimately everything that I saw from just the big players that really played well for our team, man. You got to give Thomas Bryant all the credit in the world. This young fella got 14 rebounds tonight, and all of them were physical. And I'm telling you, whatever points he had, he probably should have been double because all the fouls that should have been called for him didn't come his way. That was another thing. For all the little touch fouls that Swiper got, Thomas Bryant got hit in the head 3 times for every swipe he got. For every little touch foul, all that little stuff that he was doing out there all night long, Thomas Bryant was getting thrown around, pushed around, bumped, like falling on his ankle, falling on his leg, falling all kinds of weird ways, not getting no calls. So you guys tell me if what you saw was fair out there when you look at what De'Aaron Fox had going on one side and you look at what Thomas Bryant had to do on the other. Tell me it was fair. Because contact, I don't know. If contact is contact, then how come a 7-footer gets hit 106 times and there's no contact, and a small guy doesn't even get hit and we're getting whistles? I don't know, man. It didn't feel like we won because that's what we witnessed for 3.5 hours all night long. So thank God our guys were able to overcome it with super efficient shooting. Dennis Schroeder, I can't take nothing away from my guy Dennis Schroeder, who's continuing to show us that he's going to be in need of a payday, man. I don't know what the Lakers are going to do. You better create some cap space for these players that you got, or you're going to lose some really, really good talent again. That's what it comes down to. I see about 7 or 8 guys on this team that I want to see on this team next year, believe it or not. And that's more than half the squad. So for us to be a team that needs to make a lot of moves and stuff like that, I mean, when I'm starting to see the production of the players I have, I'm like, it ain't as many moves as people think we need to make that probably need to be made for us to be happy. Because a lot of the players that we have on this floor, we can win with. We just need to bring more to them. That's all I've been saying. Just bring a little more to them. And not the stuff they've been talking about either. I'm not giving up 2 first-round picks for Bogdan Bogdanovic so he can come here and average 15 points and get hurt. I know better. We're not doing that. He's inflated in value because Detroit's trying to trade him. They're going to give him every shot. It's not what you're going to give him, so it's not what you should give up for him. You know what I'm saying? But it's one of those situations where we can afford to make a move or two that can bring us a couple extra players. Mainly a backup center for Thomas Bryant. Get us another Thomas Bryant so we're not so reliant upon him to be what he is, because I don't know that we can count on him to stay healthy. See, we're getting what we're getting from him, and that's amazing. But the problem with TB is eventually, with history tells us he goes down. So as hard as he plays and as much energy as he plays with, if you're not anticipating that injury, you're a damned fool. So that's what I'm saying to everybody. We need to get him a backup. We need to get that now, right now. So that's what I want our coach to do. I hear that, not our coach, our GM. I hear that the Pacers are no longer going to be in negotiations with Miles Turner. So they're back to the drawing board in regards to wanting to trade him. Knowing that he's coming off of their books. Knowing that he's going to be somebody that's going to be negotiating for a high price. I'm not giving up 2 first-round picks to acquire him anymore. The Pacers lost that leverage when they messed up with whatever just happened in their negotiations. He's no longer worth 2 first-round picks, or even 1 in my mind. He's worth whatever the salary match is, because they're either going to let him walk or take whatever they can get for him. So their situation is like Jakob Poeltl's now, like Kyrie Irving's now, like a lot of other players around the league with expiring contracts, if they're including the ones we have. If you ain't gonna re-sign them, you're gonna let them walk if you don't trade them. And I don't know if any team in the league right now should be looking to let guys walk. No, you shouldn't. So we got some things to think about, man. Thomas is one of those guys. You think Thomas is going to be somebody that's not going to take an extra couple of dollars to play somewhere else if the Lakers don't make this money, show up out in the right way? I think he will definitely sign with the Orlando or Phoenix or somebody if we don't have his money right. So if we're not going to have his money right, and he's at this wonderful $1 million price playing all-star basketball, then obviously we need to go ahead and get us something for him. Now, trading Thomas Bryant is not something I would be willing to do under any other circumstance, to be honest with you. The way he's playing, I don't want to trade him. But I will tell you this, if we're going to end up losing him for nothing, then it goes the same way for him and anybody else. So that's what it is. The Lakers got to get their stuff together. We got a 5-game winning streak. Our team is winning. What more do you need to see? It's time to consider what we can do to push toward the playoffs. If that means getting some more guys in the buyout market, that needs to happen. If that means making a trade, that's reasonable. That needs to happen. We're seeing what we need to see. When AD went down, what we wanted to see was either if our team was going to win games or if we were going to start dropping games. Well, guess what? We've been winning them. We've been winning a lot since AD went down. So that means it ain't going to take a lot to keep us winning. We just got to make the right moves. So this is what I want Jeanie to assess. If we're going forward with this unit, got a nice little 5-game winning streak, that's cool. We like it, but we still don't believe we're a championship team unless something happens. So we're still in the same spot. If we don't do something, we're still in that same little no man's land that we hate being in. We're just on the upper trajectory of what it is. You know what I mean? It's an up curve. Still the same roller coaster. So that's what we need to be respectful of. We ain't done nothing yet. We beat some Eastern Conference teams that are okay. You know what I mean? Most of them on road trips that they would rather be off of at this point. So we've been getting lucky. Ran to Sacramento. You know what I mean? They've played some good ball. We took it to them. And a lot of that is credited to our players playing super efficiently. Hitting shots that normally we don't see this type of efficiency every night. So we got to give credit where it's due. Dennis Schroeder, Russell Westbrook, LeBron James, Thomas Bryant. Those were the guys tonight that collectively put this team on their backs and ultimately got us a victory in Sacramento and kept them from lighting up that beam. Kept the Sacramento night sky dark as it needs to be every time we come to that building. It was a tough environment. Obviously, our Laker fans showed up as well. We had our support, but a second game in a back-to-back in Sacramento historically has always been a drag. It's always been a pull your hair out of your head type of game, and this was no exception. Fortunately enough, though, the Lakers were able to get the victory, and I'm super happy about that. I believe we had 70 points in the paint or something of that nature. Love that. 17 turnovers. Not so in love with that, and that's another thing we're saying. In the midst of this winning streak, our turnovers have increased, so we do want to keep an eye on certain things that we're doing. Our three-point shooting, very good, above 40% tonight. Field goal shooting, above 60%. Above 60%. We barely missed out there, man. And like I said, Dennis Schroeder and Thomas Bryant, if they're shooting to that level, if the efficiency is going to be at that level, they're playing like all-stars, man. They look like Middleton and Drew Holiday out there next to Giannis type stuff. That's what we got out there for them, that type of production. So that's what it is, man. The Lakers are starting to ascend. You got to give Darvin Ham credit for all the stuff that we complain about. His team is performing for him. Russell Westbrook is running through a wall for him off the bench. You know what I mean? And with guys missing in lineup, missing in action lineup, in and out, I'm telling you, you got to give the rookie coach credit. We're micromanaging what he's doing here because we're watching the team every night. But if you zoom out and look at these 40 games, look at where the team's at, look at how we started and how quickly we've turned it around, this coach is having a hell of a season. He really is. I just wish he would get out of his own way and stop playing players he ain't got no business damn playing. And I promise you his record would be significantly better if he would have just been playing the same players he's playing now at the beginning. If he would have leaned on them dudes from day one, in the way that he's leaning on them now, we would probably be 5-6 games above 500. That's how real it is, because I know from possession to possession, we could have got so much more if we would have just stopped that small ball stuff. Look at all these offensive rebounds, defensive rebounds we get with Thomas Bryant. There were games he only played like 9 and 10 minutes. Fully healthy. Coach was running Patrick Beverley 37 minutes. Thomas Bryant was not playing. There was nothing to it. All we had to do was this right here. That's it. Nothing different. No shuffling, no trading, nothing. Just what we've done here could have been done then, and we would have got this production. All the second chance points. All the times where we missed layups. You remember the layups Westbrook was missing last season and earlier in the season? When there wasn't no center on the floor, no Dwight last year, all the missed layups that turned into nothing. Situations where we didn't have no rim protection, guys just laying the ball up over us every single play. It is so much of a relief to have Thomas Bryant down there playing like this. I can't tell you, it brings almost a tear to my eye to see an actual center ball out for my squad night in and night out, and as a result, we are seeing wins because that's all I ever thought it would be. That's all I ever thought it would be. I don't think basketball is as complicated as a sport as this era believes it is right now. It ain't. You ain't got to put 5 guards on the floor and shoot 1,000,000 threes and think you're actually balling. You ain't balling. What you need is a big man that can get easy buckets, push people out of the way, draw fouls every time he touches the ball, and get putbacks that are very difficult to defend. Rim rattling dunks. Not layups, not teardrops, none threes, none of that. Somebody who's going to hammer the ball home. I assure you, they draw fouls and get shooters off the floor. It's why players like that still have value. It's just that we're living in an era where spacing is given more credit than it deserves, when we know damn well no one's shooting over 40% from behind the arc. No one's shooting that much. So all this spacing, all this stuff y'all trying to do to cater to the three-point shot, and I'm telling you, you are going to allow yourself to lose to a team that just understands what it is I'm saying to you. They're going to get in the paint. They're going to get easy buckets with a guy like Thomas. And them little shooters are going to be the ones fouling Thomas. And as a result, they're going to be the ones sitting down, and you're going to have to see what that bench looks like. And if that bench ain't any good, then you're going to see Thomas and whoever that big player is continue to eat the same way he was doing against the starters, and you're going to win the game. It ain't that hard. Rim protection on the other side, big people get the ball first. Scoring easy buckets on the other side, big people get the ball second. When it comes off the rim, they get to it. That's what I'm saying to you. And so all this nonsense about small ball, all this Patrick Beverley nonsense is why we sucked as bad as we did. Bringing in Thomas, bringing in Winion, bringing in JTA is why we're winning now. It ain't deeper than that. I promise you it ain't. Dennis Schroeder's playing the same way. Russell Westbrook's playing the same way. They're missing the same shots and making the same shots. What's the difference? Rebounds, rim protection, easy buckets. So that's it, man. I mean, it ain't deeper than that. I promise you it's not. You know, we got a great win tonight. Just past the Kobe minutes. Salute. You know, we're very happy we were able to get a Sacramento Kings road victory. We had our issues with them back in the Kobe days. We know they poisoned him at the restaurant. We've talked about all the cowbells and all that stuff. This is why this is such an important victory for someone like myself, because I grew up watching the rare era where Sacramento was actually decent for like 5 minutes, even though Billy Mack called them one of the intense rivalries. There wasn't no intense rivalry, Billy Mack. They had 5 good minutes where they were a very decent team, and we knocked them off. That's what happened. They ain't never win nothing, and hopefully we can continue to make sure they don't. So that's what I think of the Sacramento Kings. They're just another team in California that ain't done nothing. You know what I'm saying? Get on our level. Told the Golden State Warriors to get on our level. They found a way. They found a way. Sacramento, get on our level. You ain't there yet. You can put beams in the sky. You can ring cowbells. At the end of the day, you're a ringless franchise. They're going to stay that way if I have anything to say about it. Real talk. So that's what I think of Sacramento Kings. Sacramento Beans. What do you call them? The Sacramento Queens. We've been calling them names for a long time. We've been beating them for a long time. And tonight was yet another victory for the great Los Angeles Lakers. So that's what I think, man. Forget all our ops. They have no type of respect here at all. None of them. You know, I'm glad the beam is not beaming in the sky tonight. That's what I got to say. None of that. So, next game we got, Denver. It's a team we've beaten without Anthony Davis as of late. It's a team we historically have had some solid runs against. You know, Jokic tends not to play his greatest ball against us for whatever it's worth. So maybe we'll get a little victory here. Maybe we can overachieve. Denver's been playing well. Of course, I have all that information for you as we do homework on them, etc. And that game, I believe, will be Monday. And then we'll have about 4 days off, as to which we'll have another game. And I don't remember who we see then, but it's going to be a couple days off after that. So that's what it is, man. Lakers doing good. And that game in Denver will be, in fact, in Denver, redundantly speaking. It's not going to be here. That one's going to be a mile high with altitude to meet us. So we got to be ready for that. And I'm curious to see if Anthony Davis is anywhere near coming back. Obviously, the rumor is that he's feeling no pain, all that stuff. So we'll be waiting for information. I don't think he'll be playing Denver's game, but I do expect that we'll get some information soon if he's close to coming back. Heard from Austin Reeves today. Obviously, he sat down with Billy Mack and Stu Lance earlier today for a good portion of the second quarter, was just kind of talking about certain things. One of the things that stood out was just him talking about rebounding from the elbow and making sure that we get those long rebounds off a three-point shot. So I want to see the Lakers continue to do that very thing. Discipline yourselves to understand that rebounding off the rim when guys are shooting three, it's definitely not the way to go. And we found ourselves in that situation sometimes tonight, to be honest with you. Long shot, long rebound. It ain't deeper than that. And, what is it? We used our challenge tonight. I think it went in our favor. I'm just wanting to see Darvin Ham continue to use his timeouts and challenges accordingly. That error with Wenyen Gabriel in the fifth 5 fouls, that was a little bit of a head scratcher there. We never want to see Wenyen Gabriel get fouled out of a basketball game with the third quarter, man. We've got to manage our fouls. Stuff like that can cost you the game. It can cost you the game. Thank God we had Thomas Bryant and LeBron James active. If we didn't, we probably would have lost the game. You know what I mean? Messing around with people's foul trouble like that. So that's what I got to say, man. Overall, very, very satisfying victory. I didn't enjoy watching that. I was frustrated the whole time. But my team won. The efficiency was off the charts, super off the charts. And I think I got to split the ball 3 ways, man, or 4 ways, to be honest with you. I think Westbrook, Schroeder, Bron, and TB all need a piece of that ball tonight. They all played way, way above, and it's exactly what was needed in order to beat the referees tonight. I mean, the Sacramento Kings tonight. So that's what I got to say. My name is BDL44. I thank you all for watching.